got a different kind of video here. Going to be doing a build guide. Now, obviously this is on the PTS, so things are subject to change. They may not be the same when it fully comes out with the TU10, so take this with a little bit grain of salt, of course, but this build, as of right now, is unkillable. It makes you basically unkillable. So, let's get into it. Here you can see that I'm using the gear set, the very new gear set called the Foundry Bulwarks. So you can see I'm only using 3 pieces, and that's for a reason. I'll tell you in a second. Right, so let's get into it. Let's have a look. Now you can see I'm only using 3 pieces, and I'll explain why in just a second. It is a choice of what you want to do, but let's get into it and let's see what it does. 2 pieces give you 10% total armor, and 3 pieces gives you 3% armor regeneration. Now the 4 piece is called makeshift repairs. Whenever you or your shield take damage, 40% of that amount is repaired to both over 10 seconds. So basically what that means is what I'm damaged by, it repairs to my health / armor and my shield. Now that alone is good enough, right? We're gonna just add a little bit extra to it. Now you can see we're using the big shield, so this is obviously a pure tank build. Like, obviously I'm not going to be out there doing damage. I'm there to take damage, not to deal damage. Now, as you can see, I'm using this hive. Artificer? I'm not entirely sure how you say it. I'm not very good at reading. But it has an ability to recharge 30% of your skill armor, repair the skill every now and again. So it doesn't matter if you're using blues or yellows for the shield, but it does matter if you're using yellows for this thing to work better. However, I'm not really seeing too much of a difference if I have skill or if I have blues. So it's up to you if you want to go for blues or you want to go for yellows, really. Let's just get into why I'm only using 3 pieces right now. It's because it's a choice, right? So personally, I have found that the skill health 10% is actually a greater amount than the 10% shield health. So if you take a look at the shield real quick, we have 15.1 health. Now, if I remove the gloves, just temporarily, we still got the 10% from there, but we're down to 13.7. Now, we'll take this one off and then put that one back on. So we'll take that one off and put this one back on. So it was 13.7, right? There you go. This is 14.8. Much higher. So you can always use this one as your other piece. Now, if you don't have the exotic chestplate, of course I would recommend that you use the piece there instead. The only reason I'm using this chestplate is purely because I play as a team. Now, if you play solo, I would recommend that you change this back to the forge. Sorry, I couldn't find it then. And then change this out for the Foundry Bulwark. Now, so what's going to happen here is you're going to use 4 piece, and 2 of those pieces will be have like an extra talent. The extra talent for the chest is called Improved Materials. It increases your makeshift repairs from 40% to 60%. And then on the backpack, what this is going to do is it increases the makeshift repairs from 10 seconds to 6 seconds. So it makes it quicker to get your armor back. Now, the things I would recommend that you go for on your armor pieces, it's completely up to you if you want to do whatever you want. You can go a little bit damage, you can go do whatever, but obviously I would recommend that you go max armor or a skill tier, depending on which one you want to do. But the other blues, it's completely up to you what you want to do, really. Usually I prefer explosive damage resistance, because then obviously if I'm taking hits, I can you know, actually take them. No. So let's go into the calibration, just have a look what we can change these out for. So we can go armor regeneration. This is very good, but obviously with the hive and the armor itself giving us armor back anyway, it doesn't really matter. So that's why I always preferred the explosive resistance. Hazard protection is good. Repair skills is not helpful. None of these are really helpful because skill damage doesn't actually apply to the shield. Repair skills is outgoing repairs, not you know, your own skills repairing themselves. Then you've got skill haste. Skill haste isn't really needed because obviously when your shield does break, or if it does break, which isn't going to be like once maybe during a mission, if that, it comes back quick anyway. Then status effects, obviously you're not going to be using status effects. So you can go between some reds or some blues if you really like, but I recommend the explosive resistance or the hazard protection. Alright, next up. Now, obviously everyone's going to have their liberty. If you've done the 4 things that you need to, and then you've got yourself a D50, you can make yourself a liberty. Now this makes you literally unkillable, and I mean literally. So, because what this does is every headshot that you get will repair 3%. Now this can stack up to 30 like it says here. So what I can do here is I can shoot the body 30 times, and then one headshot will repair 90% of my shield's health immediately. However, because we're on the PTS, I do have access to the Regulus. Now, this is really fun because it does 400% weapon damage and applies a bleed effect to all the enemies nearby. Now, that is where the status effects could actually be helpful in this attribute, because you can apply the bleed effect. However, the problem with that, I'm finding, the problem with that is the bleed effect has to be, is only ever applied on a kill. So its headshot kills create a 5-meter explosion, dealing 400% weapon damage and applying a bleed to all enemies hit. So of course, that's why I find the Liberty is a little bit better in terms of survivability, but the Regulus is also fun to just use in general. Now I'm going to go into a heroic mission and just show you some gameplay of those things. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Okay, one thing I did actually forget to mention is what specialization I was using. Now you probably saw it, so it doesn't really matter, but of course it is actually going to be the technician. And that's because I need the technician to be able to use this hive. The other thing I wanted to mention is the Motherly Love Gloves. These are only available through doing the quest line for the fire starter. That is the flamethrower specialization. That's the only way you can get these, and they're only craftable, and I believe you can pick them up once you've crafted them once. Now the forge is just a world drop.